At some point, we're going to plan another renovation, and I'm definitely going to pick up the phone and call Ed or email him right away. I have two sons who were moving home for a finite period of time, and that was the catalyst for redoing the bathroom. They are not little boys anymore. That's what initially drove us to speak with Ed about gutting and redoing the bathroom. And then at the same time, we kind of decided, well, let's go ahead and update the other two bathrooms. We didn't need to gut them. There were things that we could still use. And the ideas that Ed had were not even things that I had thought about on my own. I just knew that I wanted to bring the house into a more updated, finished condition. Okay. So we contacted Ed, and Emily got back to us right away and made an appointment. And the thing that was initially really nice is that the appointment time for him was not the most convenient, but it worked for us because it was important that both my husband and I were together during the initial consultation. And I remember we went downstairs and had a horrendously ugly bathroom that I had stopped letting anybody use. And he went right in and sat down on the commode and looked around and started planning immediately what we could do with the bathroom while my husband and I stood in the hallway. And that was one thing that I really liked, is that Ed immediately had some ideas that I hadn't even thought about. The only thing I had thought about was what color could I make the bathroom. After we had watched the video from our friends who had their kitchen remodeled, and we had our appointment set, I went ahead and looked at Ed's website. I went and checked out the AK website that Emily recommended that we take a look at. I had already felt comfortable with the reference from our friends and seeing the video. And so I went on and I looked at pictures of Ed's current work, bathrooms that he had done, kitchens that he had done. So we ended up deciding the first night that we met that we would go ahead and gut and redo one bathroom completely. We would update the two other bathrooms. We had a number in mind, and basically I said to Ed, can you give us the biggest bang for our buck? And that's what we wanted to do. And then when we did sit down for the quote, I had never seen anything as professional as what he presented to my husband and myself at our kitchen table. My husband took the morning off from work, and for 3 hours we went through every page, every line, every drawing, everything that was initialed, and at that point I knew that we were in the right hands. It's one of the things that impressed me the most. I was looking to have an updated look and a cleaner look. I tended to over-clutter the bathrooms to compensate for the lack of design that was in there. I was really excited to learn that we could have custom cabinets made. Ed and I also went and picked out tile before we got started, and he kept me right on budget. When we picked out tile and granite, he kept me focused into what my choices could be, what was going to look best, what colors would work. And so I was able to stay really within budget and then actually pick out a little higher grade granite for my bathroom because I kept within everything. Um, I had made a joke with my husband right after the work was finished, and I said to him, we should eat dinner in the shower downstairs because now this is the nicest room in our house. Even though this was probably a quote-unquote smaller job, we didn't feel like that. We felt like this job was as important to Ed as if he was doing an entire kitchen renovation, a kitchen dining room, a master bedroom, a master bathroom suite. We were treated as if our job was very important and was a big job, which is, I think, why I ended up asking that question. So we couldn't have been more thrilled. Our house really has a terrific facelift. I'm proud of the way it looks. Another thing that I think that I was really pleased with that made a huge difference. Ed was easy to get a hold of. He responded to my emails immediately. He was here most of the days during the week that work was done. He would touch base. Usually he was out here, 3 or 4 days a week. Work started early in the morning. It was always the same time every day. Miguel would come and ring the bell in the morning, and I would go answer it, and he would just say good morning and let me know that he was there, even though he had access to getting into the house through the garage and was able to, come in through the garage door. There was never a problem, but he always let me know that he was here, and that actually made a big difference. Ed kept me abreast of his timeline. He sat down with me one day in the kitchen and we went through a list of what I could expect the following week. And that's what would be accomplished the following week. He let me know when I needed to go and pick out lights. He let me know when I needed to go get paint. He actually gave me his opinion on the paints. I tend to have very strong opinions on what I want done, but I knew that I could talk with him to help the decision-making process. I think also one of the things that was really nice for me is when Ed told me that he learned certain things about color based upon my point of view. And I felt like, for a contractor to tell you that he's learned something from you really meant something. So now it's 2 months later, and we've been living with our freshly painted house, freshly painted deck, freshly restored front door, and our 3 new bathrooms. And it's still as exciting to walk into the bathrooms today as it was the day that they were done. I still just sometimes stare at the bathrooms and go, I can't believe this is in my house. I've had a lot of friends come, and even though they're not here to just use the bathrooms, they've looked at the work and they just can't believe the difference and how wonderful everything looks.